And Theriault, thanks so much for being with us. And I have to tell you something right off the bat. This is different for us. Usually Father Reed and I chat, but we chat so much we said we're going to bring handheld here right at the beginning. People have had enough of us chatting. So we're so glad you could be with us. And, you know, we've all been saddened by the devastation that the people of Kathmandu are facing after a 7.8 magnitude earthquake on April 25th. And Catholic Relief Services plans to spend over $2 million in emergency response and to distribute water, shelter, and maintain hygiene. But the biggest expenditure will come in actual restoration and recovery. And you know, you served in the area volunteering some years ago for the Jesuit Volunteer Corps. Tell us your experience with the community in Nepal.
Well, as you know, 7,500 people have died, 14,000 people are injured, 8 million people need help, whether it be food assistance, rice, lentils, clean drinking water, hygiene kits, tents. 300,000 buildings have been destroyed and damaged, so there's a great need. For myself, it's particularly devastating because I know I have former students and former colleagues who live there. I was privileged to serve in Nepal as a Jesuit volunteer from 2000 to 2002. I worked at St. Xavier's School and I was teaching English to students grades 5 through 8.
And they touched your life, right? These people really touched your life in that time you were there.
I think for my fellow volunteers and I, we were moved by the majestic mountains, by the religious devotion of our Hindu and Buddhist neighbors, but mostly by the immense hospitality of the Nepali people we met, who really welcomed us into their homes and their hearts. Our in-country coordinator, Father Cat Miller, who's an American Jesuit from Cleveland, he's spent the past 50 years in Nepal, told us that our job was to help our students recognize their preciousness. But really, ultimately, we were the ones who felt so cared for and so loved. So undoubtedly, both myself, my fellow volunteers, we certainly feel compelled to reach out to those we know and those we don't know and to ask for their help, whether it be through prayers, praying for the people of Nepal who are grieving the loss of their families, the destruction of their homes, the loss of their religious temples, but also to financially contribute to emergency relief services in Nepal.
Speaking of that, you know, Cardinal Sean is thrilled that you're here today, and Archbishop Kurtz has authorized all the bishops of the nation for a special collection. But Catholic Relief Services, Jay mentioned that in the beginning, they really need our help, don't they? And can you just give us like a personal statement about why people should go to crs.org and contribute whatever they can?
You know, the Catholic social teaching principle of solidarity states that we are one human family, and regardless of our national, ethnic, economic, ideological difference, we're one human family. And so we're called, our faith challenges us and calls us to do our part and to recognize that no life is worth more or less than another, to recognize that there's human dignity in each person. And so we need to do our part to help our brothers and sisters in Nepal. I think solidarity has both local dimensions as well as a global dimension.
When you talk about prayers, you know, it certainly is working too. I saw a man who was over 100 years old who got rescued. I saw a picture of a little baby who got rescued. You know, you're busy. You know, you're a new mom. Well, you have a you just had a baby. You're a teacher, and yet when this happened, you felt compelled to reach out and do something about it. What drove you to do that?
I think simply the friendships formed with my students and my colleagues, with the Jesuits who are working in Nepal, the alumni of the schools that are going out to villages. They're giving of their time, their lives, even if their own family is safe and sound. So I'm inspired by the people I know primarily, and I'm also inspired by my faith, which calls me to support charity and as well as to work for justice. To look at, why is Nepal poor in the first place? Knowing that this country, half the population is under the poverty line, half the population doesn't have access to clean water, and now you you've had this earthquake, and so you can imagine what the consequences are. So we have to do something, and it's very little. I feel like what I'm doing is very little. I feel very helpless, and I know a lot of my fellow volunteers also feel that way. But whether it be through social media, through Facebook, through reaching out to our family and friends, to people we know in schools, churches, we can do something. We're a very wealthy country, and it's what our faith calls us to do.
Yeah, to reach out, and you're talking about how special these people are, and our faith does do that. To say, here we are. Now, for people who aren't aware, you know, we live in the United States, and we're very fortunate. We go out, we can get our food, we can do this, but it's not like that in Nepal everywhere, is it?
Right, no. I think the majority of people live in villages, and now with the landslides, with the avalanches, due to the port infrastructure of the country, and also the mountainous terrain, it's been very difficult to reach people who are living in these very remote rural areas. So it's great to know what Catholic Relief Services, what they're doing, what the Jesuits are doing. So I'm grateful. I've been getting the updates. We've been sharing those with family and friends, but I'm grateful to the Cardinal and also to the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops.
So contributions, though, Catholic Relief Services, we're going to pray for everyone out there, and we're also going to send some donations to Catholic Relief Services. That's what we need to do.
CRS.org would be the website.
Right.
Thank you so much for your personal witness today on the show.
course.
Thanks for coming in. Great to meet you.